Hello, friends. Right now, you're looking at mountains, but somewhere beneath them, at this very moment, something may be under construction that could change the future of an entire continent. Guys, what's happening under the Himalayas right now is absolutely insane. I'm talking about a secretive mega engineering project buried inside one of the most extreme places on Earth, where engineers are drilling through mountains to reroute a massive river and turn it into clean electricity on a gigantic scale. And no, this is not just some cool construction story. This project could reshape energy in Asia, trigger huge environmental debates, and raise massive geopolitical questions at the same time. So, if you love crazy megaprojects, hidden infrastructure, and stories that feel bigger than a movie, hit subscribe right now, because once you see how huge this really is, you won't forget it. No, this is not the plot of a science fiction movie. And it's not a conspiracy theory. This is about a real megaproject hidden deep in the Himalayas, where engineers are literally going inside the mountains to harness one of Asia's most powerful rivers. And this is what is both terrifying and awe-inspiring at the same time. If this project works the way it is intended to, it could provide electricity to millions of people, shift the balance of power in the region, ignite environmental debates on a global scale, and turn one of the wildest places on Earth into the heart of a new energy era. Today, we're going to break down what exactly is being built beneath the Himalayas, why the whole world is talking about it, why they want to reroute a river through a mountain, and why for some, this is the project of the future, while for others, it is a dangerous game involving nature, water, and politics. The essence of the project is to use the incredible change in elevation created by the mountain terrain. A river in the Himalayas carries immense energy, and in places like this, engineering sees what it loves most: potential. Not just water, but water that can be transformed into electricity. A lot of electricity, so much that this is no longer about one city or a few provinces. It is about millions of people, industry, vast territories, and the future of energy in the region. And this is where it gets really interesting, because on paper, it all sounds almost perfect. Clean energy. A renewable source, less dependence on coal. AEC, SESNSC, Mais Pauperc, Macy, powerful technological leap, a new infrastructure symbol of the century. Because honestly, once you start to understand the scale of what is happening, it becomes deeply unsettling. For most people, the Himalayas are something almost sacred. Icy peaks, endless clouds, extreme heights, places where nature seems bigger than humanity itself, places where humans feel like mere visitors. And yet, right here, right now, a story is unfolding that sounds as if someone has decided to challenge not just a mountain, but the very logic of nature itself. Deep beneath the rocks, amid solid stone, extreme cold, lack of oxygen, and some of the most dangerous terrain on Earth, a colossal engineering system is taking shape. Its goal is to capture the immense force of a mountain river, redirect its flow through a network of tunnels, and force that raw natural power to generate electricity. So imagine this: not just a dam, not just a power station, but an entire hidden underground world. Massive tunnels, giant chambers carved inside the mountains, water surging under enormous pressure. Turbines the size of houses, machine halls invisible from the surface, and all of it built inside one of the harshest and most complex regions on Earth. It sounds impossible, and that is exactly what makes this story so addictive. Because this is no longer just construction, it is a next-generation megastructure, an attempt to take the wild force of the landscape and turn it into controlled energy. It is that moment when nature and technology collide face to face. In other words, it looks almost like the dream of modern civilization, to take the force of water and turn it into a giant source of energy without smoke, without oil, without the constant burning of fuel. But the moment we go a little deeper, it becomes clear that this story is far more complicated, because a river is not just a resource. A river is life. It is ecosystems. It is agriculture. It is the people living downstream. It is the balance of nature shaped over centuries. And when someone starts building a megaproject on a river like this, the issue instantly becomes much bigger than engineering alone. This is where politics enters the picture. Geopolitics, Turkey, and Sun, Manamasam, and Mami, it is influence. It is security. It is tension between nations. It is anxiety over what will happen downstream. It is fear that one giant infrastructure project could change not only energy systems, but the very logic of control over one of the world's most essential natural resources. And that is exactly why projects like this always generate so much noise. For some, it is a monumental technological breakthrough. For others, it is a warning sign. For some, it is a green future. For others, the stakes are simply too high. But let's be honest, the most captivating thing about this story is not the politics. What truly captivates is the image itself. Try to picture it as clearly as possible. On the outside, icy peaks, fog, wind, cliffs, a roaring river, an ancient landscape that feels untouchable. And inside, another world. A world no one sees. A world of tunnels cut through rock. A world of drilling machines, floodlights, steel, concrete arches, cables, pumps, sensors, displays, emergency systems, and enormous machine halls where everything hums, shakes, and operates for one single purpose: to take the power of nature and put it to work for humanity. And then comes the question that gives you chills. What if it actually works? What if beneath the Himalayas an object is being created that will become one of the most powerful hidden power stations in the world? What if this project goes down in history as a symbol of a new energy era? And what if megastructures like this become the new normal in the future, invisible from the outside, yet changing the lives of millions? Because the world has long been operating according to the logic of big systems. Big C, this is a C, the C big and C, escavanti, the C, SHE, aesthetic C, the CHE works. Big C, this is gespannt, the eyes are big decisions, the and the eyes amanain. Big C, dann the C, can see big, biggie key, can see key, and the C, can see, biggie and she, beatty ambitions. And the further we go, the more often humanity tries to do the impossible, not in convenient places, but in places where nature itself seems to say, no, you really shouldn't go in there. Das kann see. Highways are built through deserts, cables are laid across oceans, infrastructure is pushed through permafrost. And now they want to carry the energy of the future through the heart of the mountains. And this is where the real drama of the story begins. Because the Himalayas are not just beautiful postcard mountains. They are one of the most complex living geological systems on Earth. Altitude, freezing temperatures, thin air, unstable rock, seismic risks, landslides. Water pressure, unpredictable ground conditions. In a place like this, any mistake can become unimaginably costly. Building on a flat plain is one thing. Going deep inside a mountain, especially one where nature remains dangerous every single day, is something entirely different. That is why every tunnel here is almost like surgery on the living body of the planet. Every meter of excavation is a struggle. Every calculation is a matter of safety. Every decision is a balance between ambition and risk, and yet, people still do it. Why? Because behind projects like this, there is always more than energy. There is the idea of greatness, the idea of a breakthrough, the desire to leave behind something so immense that people will talk about it for decades. It is an almost ancient human instinct to look at a force of nature and refuse to step back, to look at a river, a cliff, a mountain, and say, "We will find a way. We will get through. We will build it. We will make it work." That is why this Himalayan megaproject is both a story about electricity and a story about human character, about a civilization that no longer wants to simply live beside nature. It wants to rewrite nature's roots. Control its force, plug it into the grid, bring chaos under command. But this is also where the most dangerous part begins, because nature does not like being underestimated. You can build a grand structure, you can invest billions, you can assemble the best engineers, you can design incredible control systems. But one question always remains: is it enough when you are dealing with one of the most powerful rivers and one of the most difficult mountain regions on the planet? That is exactly why this story is so viral, because it contains everything people cannot look away from. It has gigantic scale. It has hidden construction inside mountains. It has the energy of the future. It has ecology. It has politics. It has risk. And it has that unsettling feeling that right now, while someone is admiring beautiful views of snow and rock, a new reality is already taking shape beneath them. And you know what is especially compelling? Most of this story is not happening on the surface. This is not the kind of megaproject the world sees all at once. It does not announce itself with an enormous facade. It is literally hidden in the depths. And everything hidden is always more compelling, because the human imagination immediately starts filling in the blanks. How huge are these tunnels? What does the water sound like inside them? What does a machine hauled deep beneath a mountain look like? What does it feel like to stand in that underground space and realize that above you are thousands of tons of rock? At that point, it is no longer just infrastructure. It becomes something on the edge of science fiction and reality. And that is exactly why a project like this is impossible to view with indifference. For some, it is a miracle of engineering. For others, it is a disturbing experiment. For some, it is the green energy of the future. For others, it is the beginning of new conflicts over water. But in any case, one thing is already clear. Projects like this do not change the world only when they are completed. They begin changing it the moment people start talking about them seriously, because they change expectations. They change ambition. They change the boundaries of what seems possible. What seemed impossible yesterday is now being discussed as a strategic plan. What once looked like fantasy has now become an engineering challenge. And perhaps that is the true meaning of everything happening here. Not only to generate more electricity, but to show that humanity is now ready to go even further, deeper, higher, riskier, larger. And that is why the hidden megaproject in the Himalayas is not just a story about construction. It is a story about the future. About the price of progress, about how far humanity is willing to go for energy, influence, and technological supremacy. About where the line lies between genius and overconfidence, and about whether it is even possible to enter places like this without consequences that the entire region may one day feel. Perhaps in years to come, this project will be shown as an example of an astonishing engineering triumph. Or perhaps it will be remembered as the moment humanity once again decided it controlled more than it was ever truly capable of controlling. But right now, one thing is clear. Something truly enormous is happening beneath the Himalayas, something that is already making the world look in that direction. Something that could reshape energy, politics, ecology, and the future of millions of people. And perhaps the most powerful part of this story is that it does not begin on a stage, in a capital city, or in the center of a megapolis. It begins out there, where, among cold, wind, stone, and silence, humanity is once again trying to negotiate with nature. On its own terms, and if it succeeds, the world will never be the same again.